It's so nice to see not only the familiar faces, but the new faces that are here today. Thank you for joining us this morning. So I'm going to start this morning with a story that comes out of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he says, a beggar had been sitting by the side of the road for over 30 years. One day a stranger walked by and he said, "Spare some change," mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his baseball cap. "I have nothing to give you," said the stranger. Then he asked, "What are you sitting on?" "Nothing, it's just an old box," replied the beggar. "I've been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." "Ever looked inside?" asked the stranger. "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Well, let's have a look inside," insisted the stranger. He was kind of insistent, and so the beggar managed to pry open the lid, and with astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw that the box was filled with gold. So the point of this is, a lot of us don't look within. When was the last time that you took a long, loving, deep look within? When was the last time that you engaged in some serious inner work? Last week we talked about know thyself, and it is a subject that can use a lot of exploration. As spiritual beings living in a human experience, we have two spectrums of life, the inner and the outer. We process internally and inwardly our thoughts and our emotions, and we express outwardly when we interact with one another and with life. Both positions provide us with information, color, and flavor the experience of our lives. Both, the inner and the outer, are necessary for our growth and our evolution. When in alignment, the inner and the outer dimensions work in harmony and healthy partnership in our lived experiences. And sometimes, when there's tension between the inner and the outer self, we feel like we're being pulled in many different directions. Sometimes, our actions do not always align with how we would choose to be. Therefore, it is important to be aware of how the two balance each other out for our physical and our mental well-being. I have a quote here from The Daily Good. And it says, and it's from August of 2016, "Humans are the only creatures who can make themselves miserable. Other animals certainly suffer when they experience negative events, but only humans can induce negative emotions through self-views, judgments, expectations, regrets, and comparisons with others. Because self-thought plays such a central role in the human happiness and well-being, psychologists have devoted a great deal of attention to how we people understand ourselves. Some flowers bloom at night and can be likened to the inner spectrum that's within us. It's within the shadows. And other flowers bloom in the day. And they, no matter when they bloom, can be likened to the light. All flowers have beauty and color and fragrance. All flowers have unique details that is important. It is important to the oneness of life, just like our inner and our outer selves are both important to our lives. Each aspect has its own traits, its own characteristics, and yet, think about this, they operate and cooperate. They can work together and they can work independently. Amazing. It's amazing. Our outer spectrum is what we share with the world, what we're willing to allow others to see. And most of us, for the most part, try to put our best foot forward, don't we? We take into considerations all the material things, what we're wearing, the kind of car we drive, the job we have, our hair, the clothes, everything. That's in our outer. Whatever's important to the group, the social group that we're currently with, that's what we want to express. And putting all that time into what other people see and what other people believe about us can be pretty demanding, and it can be pretty tiring, can't it? On the other hand, we have the inner spectrum that you can't see, which includes our feelings, our emotions, our values, our thoughts, our personality, our fantasies, and our purpose. Think about that. That inner spectrum contains your purpose. We feel we have a purpose in life, and we can move through difficult times with calm and strength. When we have a strong inner self, we can cope with all of our emotions, all the emotions that we have. And so as we move through life, we have a clarity of purpose, we have a good set of values, and we remain calm when our little world around us is in crisis. I'm guessing here that some of us sometimes remain calm, and other times we get caught up in the drama. I'm speaking for myself here. We get caught up in the drama of the moment. That's how it works for me. I guess I would say I move in and out of attunement with my inner self. Carl Jung says that our inner child can create havoc if we don't acknowledge it. And I'm pretty sure mine has on one or two occasions. Arlen Connick suggests that sometimes when our inner and outer selves are in conflict, we think one thing, but we do something else. We do something else. Wow. I don't know about you, but sometimes I take the easy way. I take the expected way, and I don't necessarily do what I feel in my heart is the right thing to do. He says the greater the conflict, the wider the difference between what we believe is right and what we can do that can cause stress for us. And when we cause stress for us, we can damage ourselves, It damages your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's like the song, Running on Empty. We're running on empty because we are not feeding and nurturing and replenishing our inner selves. It's a very important thing to do. And further, when you allow that stress, that conflict to continue, you can actually cause your own illnesses. And we don't realize that they're stress related. I've got this handled. That's the one reason that it is so important to take into consideration is how you're acting in line with your inner self. Are you being true to your inner self? What are your core values? Honesty, integrity, compassion. What? What are your core values? And what do you do every day that supports your values? And sometimes our actions do not support our values. Ever since I got here, and I've been here a few weeks, I've been going to visit a young man that's in jail. I just couldn't, I'd never been to jail. I just couldn't bring myself to go to jail. So the other day I finally, sucked it up and put on my big boy pants, and I headed down to jail. And it was not nearly as stressful as I had expected it to be. It was really kind of a non-issue. And although the environment wasn't exactly pleasing, I actually enjoyed the time I spent with this person, and we were able to communicate one-on-one instead of just by writing or on the telephone. And I was true to what I had said I was going to do, which was what was the really important thing to do. I felt so much better about having been true to my conviction, to being compassionate. And so just as the light and dark coexist and support each other, and the inner and outer spectrums coexist and support each other and complement each other, they both have something they bring to the table, the inner and the outer. When we are in community, we are outwardly expressing as we interact with one another. It's necessary for us to have the inner and outer spectrums working together so that we can appreciate the fullness of life. There's a lot of good in the world, and when we're out of sync, we fail to recognize it. We get into the ain't it awful stuff, don't we? We fail to recognize that in addition to this that's going on over here, there's some good stuff that's really happening, and we haven't recognized it. So what helps is our spiritual practices. Our spiritual practices help us to bring to the surface those things that we're unaware of. When we do our spiritual practices, we can then heal what is sabotaging us, the subconscious negative thoughts. When we do our spiritual practices, we can become aware of our prejudices and our biases. We can take an inventory of what we are thinking and how we are judging ourselves as well as others. And as we do this, as we heal these, we'll see it outpicturing in our daily lives. It's part of our daily experiences, and we all remember this little saying, good and more good is mine today. Good and more good is mine today, because our outer experience is a reflection of our inner personal sense of expression. So I have a question I want you to think about for just a moment. How authentically are you expressing in the world? And does it match your inner landscape? Are we being honest about how we feel? Or are we tucking away those uncomfortable emotions so that the world can't see them? And are we putting on a good front so people can outwardly see what we think it is they want to see? We don't even know for sure that's what they want, but we have made up our mind that that's what they want to see, and so that's what we're going to show them. Do you need to show somebody else that you are in control when inside you're feeling like your life is in chaos and totally out of control? And that if you let it show, people might not like you. You may be excluded. They may not embrace you like they would if they thought you were in tune with them. Is how we're showing up outwardly in agreement with how we want to live or how we want to be seen? How do you want to live? I want to be seen as, what do I want to be seen as? As real, as no phoniness. I want to be seen as compassionate and loving and caring. I think that's what we all want to be seen as, isn't it? I liked this. Are you tucking your emotions away and putting the good up to show what good stuff is happening in the world? Or are we turtles? Are we turtles? We retreat into our shell and we hide. And every so often we poke out our hands and our feet and we move around a little bit. And if we don't like the weather, we just pull back into our shell. How many of us are turtles here? I never thought of myself as a turtle before. But we do that. Particularly since we've had the COVID experience and we spend a lot of time at home alone. And so we pull back and we kind of stick our head out, put out the feelers and see if it's okay to go out today. Well, good and more good are mine today. And so I'm going to step out of my shell and to move around and to really see what's happening in the world, the good stuff. The truth is we both have an inner beingness and an outer beingness. Our lives operate from both spaces simultaneously. There are joys and pains. in both. And we gain experience from the pain. We gain experiences that can be applied to our growth and to our education, and we can choose not to have that experience again. Those experiences are part of our evolution. Life is about choice. It's about curiosity. It's about putting ourselves out there. It's about exploring. And we have the choice to live a rich, full life or not. It's up to you. We can choose to live life the best we can. We can embrace new opportunities with curiosity and wonder and pay attention to the inner and the outer and make adjustments to maximize our experiences. Last week at our Wednesday meditation, we were encouraged to look within and understand that within each one of us is the ability to choose. Within each one of us is the ability to notice and to be curious about what's going on the inside as well as the outside, and to make adjustments to maximize the experience. We began by quieting our outer self with the intention of connecting with our inner self. And that's one of the things that we need to do. We need to slow down, quiet our outer self, focus on each moment, and pay attention to your thoughts. We have a lot of random thoughts, and so it's important to pay attention to our thoughts. And we walk through the light, and we walk through the shadows, and we savor the experience that we're having wherever we are, and we grow, and we mature from those experiences. And we get to make life changes if that's what's necessary. When we recognize our issues, we can address them. When we numb ourselves, we don't recognize those issues and they continue. So it's important to go within and to look carefully, to live a conscious life. We all want a life that's filled with honesty and integrity, and seek to match our intentions and our experiences to one another so that we have those kind of experiences. If necessary, we make life changes to address the issues. Perhaps a new job, perhaps a different relationship, perhaps a new friendship, perhaps a new location. We can appreciate the light and the dark. And we can allow our inner shadows to carry some light with them, as well as we can allow our light to hold some of the shadows. They both are good and necessary because it's all God. You know, we keep saying that it's all God. If we know in our heart of hearts that God is all there is and God is everywhere present, we can let go of the unpleasant experiences and we can embrace the lessons and we can bless them and we can move on because it's all God. When we experience ourselves separately, as separate beings, separate from each other, separate from God and from the physical universe, it's impossible to really view ourselves as our true nature, to perceive our true nature of who we really are, because we are one. We are one. The life force is everywhere, and the life force is God. There is absolutely nothing outside of God. So as we dig deeper into the true nature of reality, it becomes clear that the separation of our body and our spirit is an illusion. It's not real. We are one. We simply have different aspects of our one being. We are spirit, and nothing can hurt us or harm us in any way. From the many, one, we can look at the nature of reality. You know, each one of us is part of the one, and so there's many one. There's one thing, one being, one life, one power, and spirit is truly who you are. It's already perfect. It's already whole. It's already healthy. That non-physical being that is your true self. Science will attempt to prove that the mind is an outcome of the brain, but the brain is a part of the body and is created by the mind. Mind exists outside of time and space. Divine mind. Divine mind is spirit, and spirit is the only thing that's real. And you are spirit because you are real, and you are not just your body. Your body is an illusion, it's an image, but the truth of who you are is spirit. So transformation, more precisely, is an awakening. It's an awakening. It's a remembering of the truth of your being. I am remembering who I am. I love that song. I am remembering who I am. And so I'd like to ask you now to go within and to join me in prayer. Sweet, sweet Spirit, that divine and holy essence in which we live and breathe and have our being. I know that there is absolutely nothing outside of God. Nothing. That I am one with it. And if that is true for me, that is true for all. One with the one. I know that as true spirit, nothing can hurt or harm us in any way. I know that God is light and love and peace and joy and health and wholeness and abundance. And therefore, we too are light and love and peace, compassion and wholeness. And so as I speak my word this day, I know that we move through this time, this day, this space, this week, acknowledging the truth of our being, our divine nature, that our inner and outer beings communicate and are in sync with one another, that what we show the world is the truth of who we are, light and love, peace and joy, individualized expressions of God. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the wisdom and the knowledge of the divine. I am grateful for the opportunity that we have to share that with one another. I am grateful for the light and the love and the peace and the joy that are ours this day. I simply say thank you, God, as I release this word now to the perfect working of the perfect law that always, always and only says yes. Please join me in affirming, and so it is.